What's going on, yo? I've got some super sweet and simple buffs for Feraligatr. The water dark typing, pretty self-explanatory, pretty standard for a lot of ROM hacks. He's fine as a pure water type. He's also fine as a water and dark type. Initially, I actually had him as a pure water type in the original rendition of this video, or the older, slightly outdated change videos. But I ended up changing it to water dark later on because I realized that there actually isn't as bad overlap as I thought. Especially because Sharpedo, or rather Mega Sharpedo, which has the abilities Instinct and Sheer Force, I already ended up having Basculin, one of the Basculin forms overlaps with Sharpedo, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, if one of the abilities overlaps, I can just have the other one overlap as well anyways, because Mega Sharpedo is an absolute, glass cannon, and who's a lot faster than Feraligatr is, while Feraligatr is a lot bulkier and has a good speed stat, but it's, more of a bulkier, tankier type Pokemon. Because this is not a 6v6 competitive singles. This isn't okay, let me just slap on Dragon Dance and sweep every boss fight. This is, I'm going to use the options that I have available to me at that point in the game. And Dragon Dance is probably literally the last TM that you get access to in the game. It is right before Total Combo, so yeah, you're not going to be using Dragon Dance for a while. Agility is pretty solid if you do want to try to get some sweeps going. You also have Swords Dance and all this other fun stuff. But Feraligatr is more of just like a hit and run type Pokemon. Same goes for all Pokemon. Sweeping in general is a lot harder to pull off, especially in this case when you are a Water Dark type, meaning you are weak to First Impression, which is one of the most common priority moves in the game that will show up at least once or twice every boss fight, starting with like the end of Akata Island. So it just means that, and there's also a bunch of other anti-setup things I'm going to be putting into place, like in this case you have Roar, which is a priority move and has 3 PP, and it's the same thing with Whirlwind and all this other stuff. So my point is, Dragon Dance, Sheer Force is not all Feraligatr does anymore. This is all balanced for in-game use, so he's a great utility Pokemon with the ability Intimidate, and he's a great offensive Pokemon with the ability Sheer Force. Not to say that he's weak with Intimidate, because 125 base attack is still pretty damn strong. But before I get ahead of myself, I do want to have a disclaimer for any new viewers to check out that link down below in the description. It is the same Google Sheet I'm sharing on screen right now, and you can check out all of the move buffs and changes. If you look on screen right now, it'll show you the master list of all the moves, and I buffed and changed 600 plus moves in this hack, pretty much every single move, and they're all organized into these categories, so you can check out all of these. You can also just scroll and read naturally in order, whichever one you want to do, it's up to you. So yeah, that's really cool and really important, so definitely give that a look. It took me a lot of time and effort to make that. But yeah, Feraligatr, a lot more attack, very fitting for his design. Speed might seem weird, but first of all, it's as fast as stuff like Haxorus, which fits totally fine. Crocodile also has the same speed tier now, but if you go to Feraligatr, it talks about how he's actually extremely fast. Like, it literally says he moves fast, and I'm pretty sure that's why he learns agility naturally by level up. Yeah, it says it usually moves slowly, but it goes at blinding speed when it attacks and bites prey. So 97 base speed is pretty reasonable, especially in a hack like this. You can check out all the speed tiers in a little guide in the description below. However, something really important to keep in mind is that this goes especially for faster, frailer Pokemon. You're not guaranteed a max speed IV or a plus speed nature, so you're not going to be outspeeding nearly as many things as you might think. It's more important to know how the AI, like how fast they are, because for you, if you got 97 base speed but you have like 15 speed IVs and a neutral nature, you're not really outspeeding shit without a Choice Scarf, unless you're like, you'll outspeed like a slower Pokemon, like 60s and 70s, but you're not outspeeding like other base 90s is my point, not even close. Even base 80s will outspeed you with the plus speed nature, in that case, with max speed IVs. So yeah, that's all really important. As for Sheer Force, there are tons of new boosted options. The strongest ones being Hell Thrust on the physical Dark type side, and then Wave Crash and Aqua Tail and Liquidation on the physical Water type side. And you have dozens of new coverage moves, all of which are also Sheer Force boosted. There's a very detailed guide on the Google Sheet, or you can just look at the moves themselves on the move sheet. It's up to you. Or you can click this and it'll take you to the ability sheet, and you can look at the Sheer Force moves if that interests you as well. But yeah, Intimidate is really good with the move Rehydrate, which is a reliable recovery move. It's water type recover. All Pokemon, for the most part, in this hack have access to a reliable recovery move of some kind. So Feraligatr has a Rehydrate, and then you also get Parting Shot. So Intimidate, Parting Shot, Rehydrate, like very good bulkier stuff. Water Dark does have some very valuable resistances. So if I just go to, like, I don't know, Sharpedo's the first one that comes to mind. You can see here it's got, it's got a decent amount of weaknesses: electric, grass, fighting, bug, and fairy, which isn't the end of the world. But you also have a lot of resistances: fire, water, ice, ghost, dark, and steel. So those are all really nice for having those switch-in opportunities and just being able to check and counter a lot of Pokemon on the opponent's team. You can switch in, debuff them, whatever. You do have to keep in mind, however, that Intimidate will not be able to lower the attack of a Pokemon with crit moves, or rather, the crit moves will bypass the attack drop. And there are dozens of new 100% and 50% crit rate moves in this game that you can check out in the description below as well. In this case, you get stuff like Surging Strikes, as well as why didn't I get Wicked Blow? Weird. I guess it's just not that great because you have Health Rush or Sheer Force, but I'll also throw it on there somewhere. He's a Dark type. Oh, yeah, I didn't have Wicked Blow because he was in a Dark type before. Yeah, so I went and combed through all their moves, but sometimes I still forget stuff like that. But one of the big parts of development is just going through the older Pokemon and updating all their moves and whatnot, and making small stat and ability tweaks here and there. Like in this case, ability tweak. Sorry, typing tweak rather is the only type change I believe in this stretch of like Johto Pokemon. From the originals. But yeah, overall he's got tons of great coverage moves, all types of crazy ones that are most of them are Sheer Force boosted, but even if they're not, they're still great. I would say you're probably going to be using Intimidate a lot more than you would think, just because of the way that the attack is going to work. Like, you're going to want that defensive type ability. Not that Sheer Force is bad, Choice Scarf Sheer Force or Agility Sheer Force, whatever it is, it's still good. Or if you just want to naturally get that KO on somebody, it's nice to have Battle Cry is great with Intimidate, that drops attack and special attack by -2. You have priority moves in the form of Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch and First Impression. The pre-evolutions have 2 good abilities and solid stats. They have Strong Jaw and Torrent. Torrent works great with Endure, as well as Focus Sash or whatever else it may be. And then Strong Jaw boosts all of the Fangs, which you get via TM. So you get Psychic Fangs, Ice Fang, and Poison Fang. And then you get Crunch and Jagged Fangs via level up right before Totem Marowak. So Crunch, Jagged Fangs, and Psychic Fangs are 128 base power with Strong Jaw, while Poison Fang and Ice Fang are 112.5. So those are all really good moves that you can use for Crocodile for the mid game. And then of course once you evolve, you'll be using Sheer Force, and all of those moves besides Psychic Fangs are Sheer Force boosted anyways. So you can still use those for coverage, of course, for certain boss fights. You should be switching between. Also, if you need a Sheer Force boosted Psychic move, you have Zen Headbutt right there anyways. But yeah, all these moves are buffed or changed. I'm not going to get into every single one just because it's not really realistic or reasonable to spend my time doing that. I highly recommend you just check out that Google Sheet linked in the description. But other utility stuff is great, like Scary Face, which drops speed and attack. Breaking Swipe drops attack and special attack by -1 and deals damage, so that's very good, especially for the earlier in the game. Water Pulse also does the same thing, but you're not very strong on a special side, although it is stab. So, and it's reteachable, which is nice for utility if you do need to debuff the opponent. Soak is good for totems and stuff. Water Sport is just in time for Totem Marowak. It's priority now. Yeah, very simple overall. I don't really know what else to say. The Water Dark type is very, very fitting for Feraligatr, obviously. Like I said at the beginning, I'm fine with Pure Water. I've really had him as that before, but Water Dark also fits. I mean, it's literally called Feraligatr, like he's feral, and he's super violent and whatever, so it fits totally well. He's savage and stuff, so Dark fits fine. Pure Water fits fine as well. My only irk or ick here is that Typhlosion is the only one of the 3 that isn't dual typed, but I don't like Fire Ground Typhlosion personally, so it is what it is. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'll be back for more coming up. This was a pretty simple one. Again, Sheer Force is very strong with 125 base attack, so I don't want to undersell it. I just, like, you're killing things regardless with 125 base attack, so Sheer Force, while it is awesome, it can also allow you to run bulkier sets because you don't need to run attack investment as much with Sheer Force, because you do have access to infinite EV training items as well as infinite ability capsules in this hack, so you have a lot of customizability on your Pokemon to, make the most out of them and, tackle what's coming up ahead. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, y'all.